Hey guys, it's me Cosmic, and today we are going to talk about popufurrs. So, what even is a popufurr? Well, as the name suggests, popufurr is used to describe someone whom is a popular figure within the furry fandom. And back in my day, this was simply how you described them. The connotation was mostly neutral, although today, popufurr has a bit of a negative connotation in comparison to the past. Now, when it comes to why this is, there are obvious as well as not so obvious reasons that we will get into in just a bit. But first, I do have a question for you guys. Is the audio quality good? Like, I'm thinking about getting a microphone, but I'm not too sure if it's necessary or not. Like, obviously, a little bit of an improvement would be nice, but is it really necessary or not? That's what I'm trying to think. Alright, let's get back to the topic. Now, the obvious part of why the connotation shifted towards the negative is, well, popufurs that have turned out to be complete pieces of shit, as well as popufurs that have unfortunately allowed their popularity to get into their heads. In the wise words of Kendrick Lamar, bitch be humble, as well as they not like us. The other reason is going to sound like a bit of a cope argument, but hear me out. Unfortunately, being petty, entitled, is unfortunately a thing in the furry fandom. Now, I will be completely honest to you here. 9 times out of 10, it's on the Twitter side of the furry fandom. Any other side of the furry fandom, this is... Personally, I have only seen this kind of shit pop up on Twitter, but I wouldn't be surprised if it sometimes pop up at other sides of the furry fandom as well. However, it is not as big of a thing as, Twitter would lead you to believe. But then again, do I even need to explain that? Like, everybody already knows how much of a shit show Twitter is on every front. Regardless if it's furry or not. But regardless, yeah. To give you an example, on Twitter, there was this one time where a bunch of furries were able to rent out some large cabin, I think? No. Well, they basically just, rented a spot and had a friends and friends only, as well as, people that the friends were okay with, only were invited. It was basically, a house party between friends. And Twitter people, for some reason, lost their fucking minds. A lot of them did. Obviously, not everyone, because I was able to find a few, very just, comments that were, aware that this is just a house party between friends, essentially. There is quite literally nothing problematic in that. It's just friends being friends, bros being bros. But a lot of people were mad about it. And it was basically a popufurr only VIP club. They were complaining about things along those lines, and it's like, basically, here is a direct translation of what those people are actually trying to say.
Why am I not invited? Why can't I be there?
That's basically the translation of what it actually means. It is that dumb. And the funny thing is, there are a lot of furry conventions that started off in people's fucking kitchens as like little house parties, little fur meets, that then upgraded to that. So, a lot of the furry conventions that you people may go to have probably started off in that exact same way in the beginning and upgraded later on. But of course, back then, Twitter wasn't as big of a shit show as it is today, so nobody gave them shit about it and was able to grow and flourish. That does happen. But not all popufurs are like this. For example, take a look at Telephone or Majira. These content creators, despite being popufurs, are absolutely fine. They've done nothing wrong. They're completely fine. So no, not all popufurs are like this. However, unfortunately, there are some that do allow the popularity to completely get into their head, which is something that, they should work to prevent. But aside from this is what a popufur means. Now, this does bring us to the question of, so how does someone become a popufur in the first place? Because a lot of people forget that it's not always something that the popufurs actually intended and planned ahead of. Sometimes it literally just happened. To make this simple, we will look at 4 factors. Although there are more factors than just 4, again, for sake of simplicity, we'll go ahead and only focus on 4. Number 1, content. Number 2, personality. Number 3, luck. And number 4, sona. The first 3 is already pretty obvious. I don't think I even have to explain it to you. Pretty much everybody already understands that if you have good content, or even just decent content, there will always be someone that likes it, and hey, if enough of those types of people pop up, you'll get popular eventually. Add to the content your own personality that people may take a liking to, or simply may find interesting, then again, they'll just go ahead and like it. Add luck into all of this, as in the algorithm deciding to bless you, then yeah, you'll get popular. The 4th part, sona, may be a bit confusing, but think of the first sona as the logo. You know how McDonald's has the M arch as its symbol, hence why it is so recognizable, and you can see it everywhere. Because, you recognize the logo. Basically, your persona can become your logo in a certain way. Now, as we discussed before, in a lot of cases, the popufurs don't intentionally try to be popufurs. They just end up being popufurs because, well, whatever it is that they do, combined with their personality as well as some luck and algorithm and so on, alongside other factors, it ends up just, making them popufurs over time. Unfortunately though, although being popular in any group does have its perks, it does have a lot of negative effects as well. For example, social anxiety. The desire to be popular can easily lead to a constant state of worrying about others' perspectives, even if it doesn't really matter, resulting in stress as well as emotional turmoil in general. Self-esteem issues as well. Once you're popular enough, you're going to worry about what people are expecting when they see your IRL face. And even if you're not an ugly person, keep in mind, even if you are an attractive person, you can still fall into that trap very easily. You can start thinking of yourself as ugly, even if in reality you're actually attractive. And lack of relationships. Popularity has more to do with reputation than relationships. And as a result, a lot of parasitic dickheads will try and convince you that they actually want to be friends with you, while in reality they're trying to leech off of you. And once this happens enough times, a lot of trust gets broken, and a lot of popufurs just don't talk to a lot of people, especially online, because unfortunately their past experiences have pretty much taught them to behave in that way. And sometimes you don't even need to be a popufur for that. The feeling of being constantly watched, loss of privacy, every single action of yours being put under a microscope and being enlarged, even if you do something that is not an actual issue, because of how much focus is put on it and how much of a magnifying glass is put on it, it can turn into a shit show, even though there is no reason for it to be so. So please, if you see a popufur, right, and it has not been confirmed that they have done anything particularly bad, cut them some slack and be a bit understanding. Just because they are popular does not mean they are your emotional fleshlight. Provide them some Provide them some basic human decency and kindness, as well as just understanding.